charge of the bill, and it is a shame that it has not been.
I call the honourable member Scott Simpson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's a great pleasure to stand in the third reading debate of this electoral amendment bill in the name of the very good and capable Minister of Justice, the Honourable Judith Collins. And what a fine minister she is to bring this piece of legislation to the House following the good, hard, long, deliberative work of the Justice and Electoral Select Committee. The Select Committee worked long and hard on this bill, and we heard lots of submissions and representations from members of the public and interest groups. But listening to members of the opposition, one could easily be drawn to the conclusion that some huge, awful attack on the basis of our democracy is being perpetrated here, when nothing could be further from the truth, Mr Speaker. The Select Committee reported back unanimously on this bill, without dissension, without a minority report, and something has happened in that time between report back to now, when the Labor Party have decided to change their minds. And I wonder, what could it have been that had caused this change of mind, that the Honourable Marion Street, who was supportive and agreeable in Select Committee, could now be so vehement in her opposition to what is a very simple proposition put forward by the Select Committee. And really, sir, the only thing that one can draw from that change of heart is that there has been a change in management within the Chief of Staff's office within the Labor Party. And it's a move to the left, it's a hard move to the left, and it's a move that is not doing the opposition any good at all. So, sir, what does this bill do? Well, sir, it does not extend the use of easy vote cards. Now, listening to members of the opposition, one could be forgiven for thinking that easy vote cards were somehow going to be removed or cease to be operative at all, when in fact the situation will be simply this: the status quo for easy vote cards will continue and be maintained. What this legislation does not do is it does not extend the role and use of easy vote cards. And the committee came to a very good view, a consensus view, a unanimous view, that to extend the use of easy vote cards would have lowered the threshold to potential fraud. And that's something that is very important, because ours is a unique and wonderful, precious little democracy, and I, for one, sir, think that we should be doing everything we can to maintain and enhance the preciousness of our democracy. One doesn't have to look very far before we can find situations where there has been electoral fraud in our democracy, and one, Daljit Singh, springs to mind. Now, Daljit Singh was a Labor Party candidate in a local body election, recently convicted of electoral fraud. And what did he do? He enrolled 70 people at his one address, 70 people. And so, 70, that's right. The senior whip's telling me 70. It's absolutely right. 70 is the number. 70 people enrolled at that house. So you can imagine, sir, what might happen is that 70 easy vote cards would have arrived at that house. Now, no one in their right mind would think that that is anything other than a lowering of the potential for fraud. Sir, this bill is a good one. Another point that is worth making is that verbal identification will be required. Now, it came as a complete surprise to the committee that verbal identification was not already required. Sir, the vast majority of voters actually do state their name when they go up to the Deputy Returning Officer to get their voting papers in preparation to cast their vote. There has been argument, sir, that somehow this puts people who, for English as a second language for them, or maybe they are disabled in some way, that this puts them at a disadvantage. Well, there is already very comprehensive and existing legislation that protects and ensures adequate steps can be taken for people in that situation. So this comes as nothing of a surprise, other than it wasn't there already. So this is a very good bill. It's a well-considered bill. It means that if we pass it today, we'll be ready for the election on September 20. And, sir, on this side of the House, we're ready for that election. We're ready. We're looking forward to it. We have a policy range of policies that are going to be fit to take to the country in a very positive and good way. We have an excellent story to take to the nation. Sir, I commend this bill to the House. I commend the Minister for bringing it to the House, and I urge all members to support it.
I call the honourable member Andrew Little.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I rise to oppose